rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom. With rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom is a motivational moment designed to equip you and empower you with the necessary fundamentals and strategies to take your business to the next level. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, right here, live on Facebook. You are in for a great treat with Rich McClearn on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom is a motivational moment designed to equip you and empower you with the necessary fundamentals and strategies to take your business to the next level. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, right here, live on Facebook. You are in for a great treat with Rich McClearn on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom is a motivational moment designed to equip you and empower you with the necessary fundamentals and strategies to take your business to the next level. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, right here, live on Facebook. You are in for a great treat with Rich McClearn on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom.
Strength, courage, and wisdom. It's your boy every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I'm here, man. I'm so excited about what's going on today, man. I have another special guest coming on. Hey, Lucia, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rich. How about you? I'm getting ready to start a watch party. Everybody, please, we need you to chime in today. We have a very special guest. We pray that your day has been wonderful. We're looking forward to sharing with you on today.
Hey, Lucia.
How are you doing, Rich?
You know, I can't complain. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. And I'm blessed to have friends, man, in this town called Baltimore, and I'm loving every minute of it. But I'm going to tell you something, Lucia. I'm real excited about today's guest, man. I don't know what to do. Every week I seem to have a special guest that comes on this show, and they can share some wisdom, man. Give us some insight. They're in the trenches. They're fighting every day. They're a warrior, and he's a true warrior on our behalf, man. And I'm excited about it, man. And I can't wait to bring him to the crowd. But meanwhile, I need everybody to log into their Facebook account now, invite a friend, invite a family member, tag a friend, tell somebody. I see people joining already. Raven, Karen, Elizabeth. I need everybody to tag your friend and get this wisdom today. Get this word, get this advice, get this enhancement in your life today. So I'm asking everybody to please tell somebody, tag somebody real quickly. Lucia, as you know, we normally start, so I need you to give the scripture for the day real quick.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Our scripture on today is found in Jeremiah, the 22nd chapter and the 17th verse. And the word reads as such: but your eyes and your heart are intent only upon your own dishonest gain, and on shedding innocent blood and on practicing oppression and extortion. Rich, I'm telling you,
Ooh.
this scripture is so pertinent for what's happening in our community today.
Yes.
Man, our people are being slaughtered in the streets, and it's just disheartening, honestly. I'm just going to be completely transparent. You see videos after videos of unfair treatment and police brutality and whatnot, and it's really disheartening. It's disheartening to see how our people are being treated right now.
And to see it, that's why we picked that scripture, is depicting what's going on today. So what I'm going to do, I got to do this. He's a lawyer in the city of Baltimore in Virginia. He's authorized by the bar to practice law in those states.
Yeah.
He's a public speaker, man. He's a motivated speaker. He's the war lawyer. How about that? Wyndal. Whoa. Jay Wyndal.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. How are you all? Thank you for having me today.
Hey, Jay, I forgot to say the most important.
Welcome, Mr. Wyndal.
I finally made it to the big league, mama. I'm on the McClearn show with Lucia here in Ellis. I've arrived.
Hey, Jay, I forgot to say the biggest thing, that he's a father, too. He's a proud father. I love it.
Yes.
So, Jay, we're going to start this show off ready, man. Listen, guys, please text somebody, tell somebody, join this show today, because Jay's going to share with you some nuggets. He's going to give you some information. You might get a pen and paper as well. But, Jay, you know what's going on. You saw what happened with Mr. Gordan out in Minneapolis. You saw that. You almost see that on a monthly, yearly basis here in the city of Baltimore. What was your first thoughts when you saw that video?
When I saw George Floyd being lynched on the streets of Minneapolis, man, I'm telling you, it took me someplace where I hadn't been in a while. And, you know, when we see these types of videos, I try not to watch them because they impact me. And George Floyd was no different. I was impacted. That day that I watched the video, I was having a great day. I mean, settling cases, everything was going great. And then I saw that video, and immediately I was taken into a sunken place. And I didn't get out of the bed the following day because I'm impacted emotionally and mentally. I think we all are sort of traumatized by seeing these images over and over again. I couldn't sleep that night, you know, and I didn't realize until the third day that I didn't get out of bed the day before because of that incident. I was like, dang, it was very hard for me to get out of bed, and why didn't I do it? And then I thought about, okay, I saw that George Floyd video, and that's what did it to me. I mean, many of us felt the way I did. That is, you felt the same sense of loss, of trauma, of outrage, of anger, of straight rage, actually, when you saw this man suffering, you know, dying torturously, maliciously, or with malice, and in this very sadistic situation under which he had no control whatsoever. And everyone says all it took was somebody just to push him off, and nobody would risk their life for that. But at the same time, a life should not have been taken for what was the actual allegation, passing a $20 bill that we still, to this point, never heard what happened to it. And there's some rumblings around the streets in Minneapolis that it was a real $20 bill or $2 bill or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It didn't deserve the death penalty, and that's what he received for it. So I think those officers, if they had the death penalty in Minneapolis, and I do not ascribe to the death penalty, but for these gentlemen, and I guess I'd be a hypocrite to say that, but I'm not going to go that far even today, but they need to be in a cage locked away forever until they die. And that's how I felt. That's how I felt about it. That's how I feel about it today.
So now I want you to do something for me. Put your lawyer hat on.
Okay.
How do you feel that if you were his lawyer, if you were the lawyer for the family? You think things are going properly? You think things are being addressed properly?
I do. I happen to be friends with each and every one of his lawyers, from Lee Merritt to Christopher Stewart to Benjamin Crump. I mean, we're on we have a what do you call it, a text joint group text, and we group text each other almost weekly, sometimes daily, sometimes the point is you know, it's ad nauseum. But yeah, those gentlemen, they're doing a great job. They got the independent medical examination, because that's what I was very interested in. I wasn't going to submit to the local medical examiner, so they got an independent medical examination, which was good. That really brought out the truth of the case. I was actually able to refer Ben Crump to a renowned heart cardiologist, who's also, I understand they retained on the case. And so, I think it's going well, but this one is not hard. This one is, if ever there was such a case that was a slam dunk, the man is in handcuffs. He's got 3 officers on him. He's not a threat to anyone. He's not resisting in any way. He can't resist in any way. And right. He's just down. And if you look at the eyes of Chauvin, if you look at his eyes, you could tell that his intent was to kill. There was nothing other than wickedness in his eyes. And when he finished his job, he took off his little rubber gloves and walked off as if he had really done something that day, like he really completed a hard day's work, and he felt gratified for what he had done. And even when he was going through the torturing of George Floyd, you could tell that he was enjoying every second of him grinding his knee into his neck until George Floyd's spirit and soul left his body. And even after the soul left his body, he still remained on his neck to make sure that he could not be resuscitated. So to me, like everyone else, there's nothing wrong with us in terms of our interpretation of what the law should be and what the law is. It's the first-degree murder trial. But when you're out there in Minneapolis, you have to deal with your juries, and you know how your juries think, and maybe a jury would not convict of that. And if you put all the eggs in one basket, then you could possibly end up with nothing, because they don't find first-degree murder. Not that they can't find them under a lesser included offense, but they may not. So they don't necessarily want to overreach. I don't necessarily agree with that, because if he was Joe Blow on the street, they're charged with everything. Baltimore City, they're charged with everything. They don't care if they're going to win. They don't care if they're going to lose. Baltimore City, they lose a lot of murder cases because they don't do the proper investigation, or they just rush to judgment. But when police, they're so meticulous and deliberate to a fault, because they look for reasons not to prosecute, as opposed to looking for reasons, having the evidence and using that evidence to present to a jury. Let a jury decide these cases. Don't say, well, I can't win. So what? You're a lawyer, you're a trial lawyer. You win some, you lose some. That's how it is. Being a good trial lawyer is being unafraid to lose. I win because I'm not afraid to lose. And when you're afraid to lose, you'll never win. But if you're not afraid to lose, man, I don't care what the situation is. If I'm on the defense side, or if I'm prosecuting someone in a civil action, I'm not afraid to lose. So I'm coming at you. And you can say you might have solid defenses, and then put your salesmanship against my salesmanship. I bet on me. Just like, we were talking about Corinne Gaines. Everybody, you're going to lose that case. She's got a rifle in her hand. She's holding a gun on the police. Like, look, she can be holding a gun on the police, but you know what? At the time, if they had shot her when she was pointing the gun at her, I wouldn't be in this case. But they shot her in the back when she was not pointing the gun at her. And because of that, I'm in this case. And because of that, to me, it's a good case. So we put our salesmanship against their salesmanship, and we ended up with a $38 million verdict. And so that's how it goes. Don't be so afraid of losing all the time. Like, you don't mind losing when it's somebody else and you rush into judgment. But with these police officers, they're afraid to lose. Like, look, put your case up. Because I'm telling you, George Floyd, prime example. There would be no trepidation in my heart in bringing that case to a jury, even though I don't practice law in Minneapolis. So, let me not second guess them. But if that case is right here, no trepidation whatsoever. Any place where I can practice law, none. I'd be like my brothers out there on the civil side, going through everything, turning over every rock, leaflet, going over every hill, hamlet, all over the state of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota.
I have another question. Then let's see you ask the next one. From being a lawyer for the last 30-something years, and you've seen a lot in Baltimore and Virginia, and probably upstate New York. And
I don't practice law in Virginia.
You don't practice law in Virginia? Okay, Maryland?
Maryland and D.C. federal court.
Maryland and D.C. federal. Okay, Maryland and D.C. federal. I know you've seen a lot. And I want you to give the people, like, if you can, I don't know if you can break it down to the top 3 things that you would that you see often that you think that we might be making a mistake, the people might be making a mistake, or the people might be looking at the law differently or looking at it wrong, and it should be looked at this way from a lawyer's eye.
The thing is, we're not looking at it wrong. We're looking at it exactly the way it is. You know, you have judges who are people who interpret things based upon their own biases and whatever, or experiences that they bring to the table. You can look at a George Floyd incident, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what went wrong. You can look at the Ahmaud Arbery incident. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what went wrong. Breonna Taylor, again, you're going to the wrong house. You're coming in guns blazing, no knock warrant. What do you expect? So the fact that they had a weapon in a state where it's legal and in her own home, you know, where they got no advance notice that these individuals are coming in, and you just blasting everything in sight. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. I mean, I understand that the law allows police to make mistakes. And so you do have to get around the fact that they always say you're not supposed to judge police by 20/20 vision, because they're often involved in situations that are tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving. And I understand that they have to make split-second judgments, but we've seen them make split-second judgments and not fire a single bullet or weapon. We've seen them take in white suspects who've done all kinds of heinous things, such as shoot up a church and take a police officer's weapon, their taser, their guns, and shoot at actually police in Baltimore County. We've seen that as well. So, you know, I don't buy into the fact that that they have no choice and that these situations should not be judged by 20/20 vision and they're tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving, when we've seen y'all demonstrate that you know how to handle these types of situations. And over again, almost as often as we've seen situations where you just handle, you know, extremely poorly. So, yeah. So I want you to always don't buy into the stuff that these lawyers are selling, that these pundits are selling. There's nothing wrong with your common sense. And when you sit on that jury and you listen to these facts of the case, it's going to be your take on the evidence, not what the lawyers think. And the judges will tell you that when you decide a case, it's you, not the judges. So, yeah. You're not looking at it any differently than it should be looked at. You're not looking at it emotionally. You're looking at it with the same set of eyes as everybody else. It's just that they're coming to a different conclusion because they want to, not because they're required to, or the law requires them to.
Okay. Lucia?
Yes, absolutely. We were just talking about this before we came on, about how disheartening all of this is. My question to you is, from a legal standpoint, what should we be telling our young people about how to respond to the hyper policing that's happening right now? What should we be telling
them? We all have one of these things right here. It's a cell phone. Mine's a little haggard and beat up. I really don't crack screen and everything. I need a new one. But we all should have these cell phones. And on your cell phone, not only do you have a video recording device, but you also have an audio recording device. And everyone has the audio recording device. And when you're pulled over by the police and you see those blue lights or blue and red lights in your rearview mirror, you reach for your phone, and if you're not, comfortable saying, putting the camera up in his face, turn on the audio portion of your phone and just stick it in your pocket or stick it in the middle console. An audio recording. You have the right to record the police in the performance of their public duties from a safe distance. And so if your phone is someplace stationary or even in your pocket, turn that thing on every time, not sometimes, every time. What I tell my young people that I talk to is, you treat the police, and the police are going to be offended by this, but this is what I tell them, because I'm not necessarily concerned with them being offended. I want my people to stay alive. Treat the police like a stray dog. You don't know if that dog's going to bite you or he's going to lick you. Wow. But you need to understand that dog is a stray, and you don't know what his behavior is, so you keep your distance. And I tell you quite honestly, don't call him unless you absolutely need him. You know what I mean? Don't call him because, if you don't need him and you just call him just to call him, I don't recommend it in this climate at all, because you might find yourself on the back end of something where you call the police for help. We saw it with Sierra Floyd. If you remember, Miss Mellison, she's a 76-year-old woman who was hip tossed to the ground by officers in Baltimore County. Sierra Floyd is her granddaughter. Everybody had a problem with because she was mouthing off to the police, but Sierra had just been traumatized. She had been punched and kicked. Somebody's trying to run up in her house. Neighbors' cars were being damaged, property was being damaged, and she was excited about it. And if you can imagine, say for instance, if you were in a car accident, you're laid out in the middle of the street, and an officer comes up to you and say, "Well, who are you?" And here you are laid out in the middle of the street after suffering this trauma. Yeah, you're going to get offended. So after that officer approached her with and who are you? She got offended and walked on about her business. But she had called the police, and she ended up being the one arrested quite forcefully, her and her grandmother, for nothing. She's looking for help and protection, and it turned on her. And that's really the climate that we live in. Unless you need them, don't call them. I had another situation where the young lady was punched in the face right here in Baltimore City by Officer Terry Love. After he assaulted two other officers, but she ended up being punched in the face by this other officer. Now, the officer who she assaulted did not punch her, nor did he think it was necessary to punch her. He tried to restrain her, but Officer Terry Love punched her in the face. For what? You had three other officers there, all of them seeing the same thing, and here you are. You're the only one. If it was reasonable, everybody would have done it, right?
Right.
Especially the one who was trying to restrain her. But this one officer anything and punches her, but knocks her out cold. Temporarily unconscious. She hits the back of her head on the concrete. Come on, man. Look, like, what is that? So when you first saw her, you knew you were dealing with someone who was in crisis, who was having some type of manic episode. You knew that. So what do they tell you? They tell you to de-escalate. Keep your distance. That's what they tell you. That's what you're trained to do. You're not trained to just sock somebody in the face. And not only punch in the face, you sucker punched her. Like, how you gonna sucker punch a woman in the face and then walk off again like you did? Something tremendous. But earlier that evening, her family noticed that she was having problems and she was in crisis. And one of them had suggested calling the police. It's like, no, don't call the police because they would kill her. And so they tried to keep her at their house until another family member arrived, but she had left before that family member arrived. And that's how she ended up downtown. But isn't that very sad? That's the saddest part of the commentary, is that they didn't trust the police enough to handle the situation properly so she could get the treatment that she needed. And they were left to their own devices to try to figure it out. And I can tell you, she probably is better in the situation. She probably ended up better than she would have if the police had come, because she was actually having that episode. So, and you saw her hit a police officer. Who knows what a rogue or rebellious police officer would have done to her. So, true. So the first officer tried to protect her, understanding what her situation was, and the other one just didn't give a damn. And that's the problem. Stray dogs. You don't know what you're going to get.
So, Wyndal, I know you deal with our community a lot. Probably 99.9% of your customers are African-American, male or female. Mm-hmm. I want to hear from you, being in this legal field, building the court system for the last 30 years or so.
25.
What do you think would be some resolutions? What would help? Is training the answer? Is fines the answer? Is firing the answer? Jail time the answer? Right. What is the answer?
I got a list. Let me pull my list out, because I got a list.
Help us.
What did I do? Police reform. There it is, right here.
Yes. Help
us.
We
need a registry. We need a national registry to just like we have a sex abuse registry, gun registry, we need a police registry, a registry of police officers involved in misconduct. We're releasing these people into our communities. We don't know what their backgrounds are. We don't know what we're going to deal with once they arrive. And so we need to be informed. The community needs to be informed that if they're working in our district, we need to know who they are. We need an Amy Cooper false report law. Amy Cooper false report law. We have all these Karens out here calling police on individuals, making false accusations that they've done this, assaulted them, and all this other thing. When I say Karen, I'm talking about white or black women or men or whomever, not even gender related, just whomever. But this law originates from white women calling police on black men. We need an Amy Cooper law that prosecutors will enforce and punish. I believe in defunding the police. Now, what does that mean? Defunding the police means not that we just take all their money away from them and leave us to our own devices, but cut some of that budget that they have. Demilitarize the police. All that money that you spend on militarizing the police, demilitarize them. We need mandatory de-escalation training. That should be mandatory, not optional, and it should be employed mandatorily, not optional. Ban all forms of asphyxia or chokeholds. Ban all forms of that. Police officers should have to pay. They should have an insurance policy or some type of misconduct. Attorneys have to have misconduct, a general liability policy. Police officers should have insurance policy. So when they act up and they do something crazy, let them pay. Let the insurance cover it. Deductibles. They should have to pay deductibles. If the city of Baltimore has to defend the police. Normally, the way things are now, the police can just wash their hands. They can go out here and raise hell. People get killed, people get seriously injured and maimed, and once they go to trial, they get they get hammered with these judgments or the legal fees that the city has to pay in order to represent these people. These people should have to pay a deductible. Pay $10,000, $30,000 for your defense, or pay $10,000 or $30,000 for a judgment that the city has to pay on your behalf. I also believe that police officers who live outside of the city of Baltimore or who outside of the state of Maryland, they should have to get signed petitions. That is, have our citizens who they're going to police sign a petition. Give me 100 signatures or 100 signatures if you live outside of Baltimore but within the state of Maryland. 300 signatures if you live outside of the state of Maryland, because these are the people you're going to be policing. I want at least 100 people to say, yeah, you know what, this is a good guy. Even if he approached me on the street, I liked his character. He was nice. That forces the police to introduce themselves to the community they'll be policing. So yeah, give me 100 signatures. So I want petitions. I would like to see prospective police officers get petitions signed by individuals who are residents before they become a police officer. And those police officers who grew up in our city and may have gotten in some trouble in the early 90s through the 2000s, they want to be police officers today because, it was zero tolerance then. Everybody was getting arrested, and that could bar you from becoming a police officer today. Give me a petition signed with like 300 people that say, you know what, I've known Johnny Wilson in this neighborhood for a long time. I think he'll be an excellent police officer. He may have had some problems in the past, but I'm going to sign this petition to him on his behalf because I believe in him. I say incentivize residency requirements. So I don't think you can force someone to live in the city of Baltimore even though they're police here, but you can incentivize it. Give them tax breaks. Give them some kind of incentive for being in the city. Dismantle qualified immunity. Qualified immunity has interfered with justice for the last 50 some odd years. We need to dismantle it. We need to do away with it because it doesn't do anything but allow these rogue officers to continue to be repeat offenders and harm our citizens. Jury duty. Don't figure out how you can get out of jury duty. Go to jury duty and stop playing with me. I'm tired of hearing all the little stories, not even stories, I'm gonna call them what they are. They lies from our people saying that they can't judge somebody because they Muslim, they got a Bible in their hand, you know what I mean? Or they eating a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, you know what I mean? Stop it all that. Stop it all that. Y'all, if you really have a problem with the injustices that you see, then when you get an opportunity to perform your civic duty to sit on that jury, you need to sit and stop coming up with excuses why you can't sit. Repeal the LEOBR, the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights. Law enforcement officers have a Bill of Rights, and we've been working against this for a number of years. Initially, one of the main portions that I objected to was the 10-day rule. Officers could go 10 days before they could be interrogated by anyone concerning allegations of misconduct. When we fought in the legislature and got that rule reduced to 5 days, but I was like, why do they even need 5 days? Anybody else accused or suspected of a crime can be interrogated right away. And the truth doesn't change between the first and the fifth day. If you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. So why even give them 5 days to retain counsel? Because that's what they're required to do, retain counsel. And then it can be extended another 5 days. So why give them 5 days? Because ordinary citizens don't have that. But the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights in the state of Maryland has that. do away with that. Increase the damages caps. The damages caps in the state of Maryland for state constitutional tort violations or state constitutional violations is $400,000 a year. It used to be $200,000 a year. We fought. I was actually in Annapolis. I fought for that myself with everybody else. We fought. It used to be $200,000. They raised it to $400,000. That's still not enough. It needs to be at least $1 million. The tort claims at least $1 million. Pass Anton's law, and I think we probably did that. Autopsies, body cam footage, investigatory files, and prior accusations. All that information should be turned over to families who lost loved ones at the hands of a police-involved killing or police-involved death. So I would like to see autopsy reports being released. Abolish K9 arrests. I'm sick of seeing all these videos where K9s are just munching on people, and the police can't even get the K9 off these people.
Yeah.
K9 arrests are savage, and I don't think they should be allowed under our laws. We need to abolish that. Annual audit of the police officer's budget. Yeah, we should audit the police officer's budget on an annual basis. We should not be allowed to deliberately obstruct the view of citizens. Police officers, they're notorious for doing that. When you videotape a police officer and what they in the performance of their duties, what do? They circle up so that you can't see what they're doing, and you have a situation like George Floyd. I think any officer who deliberately obstructs the view of a citizen while they're performing their work, that is just covering it up, because that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about any real police purposes. We're talking about a cover-up. People are complaining, yes, but you're not protecting them from doing anything. You're just covering up what your comrades are doing. So that should be unlawful. A bad cop list or repository, that is, a bad cop list should be held. Open collective bargaining agreement negotiations. When police officers negotiate their contracts, it should be open to the public. These collective bargaining agreement negotiations should be open. Why not? What's the big secret? This is our taxpayer money. Yeah. So open those collective bargaining negotiations. Ban warrantless civil asset forfeitures without charges or conviction. Do you know that based upon an allegation, police officers can seize your assets, your car, your computers, your cell phone, without you even being charged with a crime? Ban those types of warrantless asset forfeitures, because that's important. And police should have whistleblower protection. That is, if a police officer sees another officer engaged in wrongful conduct, he should be entitled to a special police officer whistleblower protection, something over and above what everybody else has, because these police officers they train for approximately 800 hours, and then they have the right to take your life. Beauticians and barbers have to go to school for 1,500 to 2,000 hours just to cut hair, and style hair. Police officers get 800 hours. They're given a gun, a badge, and a license to kill. Something's wrong with that. So I think that when a police officer sees another officer engaged in wrongful conduct, he should be protected fully to the utmost, and that those allegations should be investigated, almost without limitation. So that's my list. I know it was long. I took a lot of time, but that's my list.
That was long, man, but that was a good one, though. There was a couple of things I want to talk to you about that, but I want to first recognize my
That was a great list.
Denise is on the line, KB, Karen Bryce, Bronson, Reverend Bronson is on, Pastor Bronson is on, Deborah Owens, Ezekiel Hill, Neil, my brother Mike, Dom, Jordan, JJ, James, Gloria Winston, all you guys, my mom, Alexis Gardner, just got her law degree and just passed the bar. And just
congratulations, yeah. Got some more warriors coming out here.
That's my baby girl there. She's doing good. They all want to say hi, first of all. My man Ozzy Lumpkin and Dwayne Jr., been on the show. Williams Jr., he's been on the show a couple of times too. So guys, tag somebody, tell somebody we have the one and only, the war lawyer. That's right, I said it. Warrior lawyer. Yes. On the line, man, and listen, he is giving some information to us. So Jay, I keep on saying it because you have been fighting, man, since I've been here. I came here in 1995. I heard about you probably 97 or so, and you've just been fighting, man. You've been fighting. You're young. You've been fighting. I know one day you're gonna get tired, but hopefully you don't. Not no time soon.
Yeah.
And I know you keep butting up your heads against the wall a lot. what is your number one headbutton situation that you're constantly dealing with on a monthly basis that maybe we as a people should be dealing with, or you should be dealing with in the court system? What is that one thing that gives you the biggest headache?
I already said jury duty. Jury duty. Yeah, jury duty. I mean, because I can't tell you how many times, you know, we can sit a jury that's diversified, has different perspectives from all walks of Baltimore City, or even another county. For instance, Baltimore County, and you know, or whether it's heavily, you know, a majority county, Garrett County, Allegheny County, and you might get a chance to talk to maybe 5, 10 black folks, and all 10 of them have some reason why they can't sit. I mean, it becomes a problem because we're in the justice business. We want justice to work the way it's supposed to, and everyone who has an opportunity to participate in ensuring that justice works the way it's supposed to, I believe they should participate. It's our duty to participate. If we do away with jury trials, we'd be in a world of trouble, because I tell you what, I can't name a single judge in the entire state of Maryland that I would want to judge me. I can't tell you anyone that I would trust with judgment of me. I can't name one.
Wow.
Right now, I can't name one. Some I've even known, some of my friends, I wouldn't even name them. I've seen their work, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't even try cases in district court because you can't get a jury down there. And I'll tell you all the time, I don't try cases in district court unless I absolutely have to, and I have a good legal issue. If I have to deal with the facts of a case, and I got to deal with an officer, because the courts, and this is the bias that's built into the system, the structural bias, the inherent bias. It takes about 3 or 4 civilians to counteract the false testimony of one officer. And if you don't have that, you're really not working with much. And then I can't tell you how many times I've seen judges who have actually apologized for finding my client not guilty. Apologize to the officer. What the hell? The officer should be apologizing to you for telling lies to you under oath in your courtroom, and you apologizing to the officer
Right.
for finding my. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to find.
Wow.
Sorry. But you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
These judges, they don't even know what they've done. They don't even know what they've said. They said it. They don't even know that they said it, and they don't even know that how it leaves an indelible impression in my mind and how it resonates. That's how they feel. I'm sorry, officer, you know, I'm going to have to find Mr. Smith not guilty. What? So no, I need a jury. I need someone who's not biased, who's not so dead set on saying that I've seen the same thing every day, and nothing's going to change. I got one of my co-counsel calling me. Les, I'm actually on a Zoom call. I'll call you right back. I got the opinion. I'm trying to read it. I'll call you right back. Okay, I'll call you right back.
Let's see it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So the Corinne Gaines, out of the press.
Yeah, you mentioned
came back moments ago.
Yeah.
Moments ago, the Corinne Gaines, where we got that $38 million verdict in Baltimore County. It's a 74-page opinion. I sent my law clerk out to read it. I don't know what it says. I know that we got the circuit court judge reversed for taking our $38 million verdict, but I don't know whether it was a symbolic reversal or whether or not the reversal is substantive and means anything. So that's what we need to find out. My phone's going to be blowing up to deal with those issues.
Go ahead, Lucia.
yes, and so you mentioned because I was going to go into community. So you mentioned jury duty. So we get out as a people. We find ways to escape jury duty, and we don't go. So that's one of the things that we need to do. The other question that I have is, okay, and the other question I have is, what about our election process? Should we be looking at our state's attorneys, those that actually are prosecuting cases and things of that nature? Should we really be reading more? Because I think one of the things the pandemic did for us, and even this George Floyd case did for us, it caused us to be more aware. So now we're aware of what's happening, and you're making us even more aware, because you mentioned a backlog of cases. Can you talk to us about this backlog that we have now of cases?
Okay. So I'm making sure my phone, no, it is messing up.
No, you good.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Yes.
the state's attorney has always been important. It's important to know who's going to be prosecuting their cases and who is not, and what kind of cases they're going to prosecute. We happen, in my opinion, you all can disagree, and many people do, but I think that in Baltimore City, we have one of the strongest state's attorneys actually in this entire country. She just made headlines last week trying to deal with 600 cases that she decided she's not going to prosecute and trying to get rid of to release our system of congestion. Because a lot of these crimes aren't worthy of people going to jail or having their records barred. Okay. So I do believe Marilyn Mosley is one of the strongest. I do believe that Aisha Braveboy in Prince George's County is one of the strongest. They are innovative. They are progressive. They understand the injustices that exist in this system. And I don't agree with them all the time. And so this is not a love fest for either one of them. Even though I respect them, I appreciate them, but I have to give credit where credit is due. I'm seeing some remarkable, innovative prosecution policies coming out of both of those offices that, quite frankly, I'm proud to say that I practice law within those jurisdictions. Now, the second part of your question was, what was the second part?
Congestion.
Oh, the cases. Yes. So we have a situation now where we have, some people are in jail for misdemeanor offenses. They're held without bail. I have a client right now who's being held without bail for 2 misdemeanor offenses, and come to find out today she had no prior record for those 2 misdemeanor offenses that arise out of the same incident. She's being held without bail. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so trial courts are not going to resume until August 31st. She's been in jail since May 29th. August 31st is when trial court. So if you disagree with the charges and you want to go to trial, you want to contest the charges, you don't get a chance to do that until August 31st. If you want to do it in front of one of those district court judges that I'm telling you, I wouldn't let them judge a pie test. Let me stop. I wouldn't let them be the judge of a pie tasting contest, tasting pies in the pie factory. But anyway, I'm not going to go that hard on them. Some judges are very good, but a lot of judges sometimes are very jaded in their views. And so I just don't trust them with my clients. And so to get a jury trial, if you're held without bail on these misdemeanor offenses, you want to fight them out. To get a jury trial, you have to wait until after October 5th of 2020. So today is what? Today is July 1st, after October 5th of 2020, if you want to contest the charges. So it's going to force a lot of people to scream uncle and be like, look, I'll take the plea, just get me out of here. I can't sit in here until 2021 waiting to determine whether or not my theft charge or my domestic violence charge I'm going to actually have a chance to prove my innocence. My whole life is crumbling right before me. I'm losing my apartment, my car, my job, and everything else. And, and trumped up charges. And if that's what you believe, then every person is entitled to a trial. But in this climate, you have to wait. So what does that mean? All the cases that were originally set in between March and August 31st or October 5th are going to have to be punted until sometime after October 5th if you want a jury trial, or October 31st if you want a court trial. And so, and you might not be first on the list, you know what I mean? Wow. You might be number 39,400. Wow. So when are you going to trial? In 2021, perhaps even 2022? It makes no sense, you know what I mean? So that's why I commend Marilyn Mosley for recognizing these facts and doing away with some of these cases that she can do away with, where she knows that they're just increasing the backlog and really have and people are serving far more time than they actually would if they actually went to trial. I have a case now. I have to decide, my client has to decide whether or not she wants to come home now, take a plea, come home now, or wait till after October where you can have a trial. And that's a lot to ask of someone who's sitting in central booking in that nasty, filthy place, you know what I mean? So, and these are the Hobson choices that we're up with. And what are you to do about it? You're just in a situation where you just have to figure it out. And I'm hopeful. I don't know what to do, because once you plead guilty, you plead guilty and you're stuck with it. But why did you do it? Because you're sitting in jail and you want to come home to your family. That's our justice system, right?
I think that you mentioned trumped up charges. I'm in agreement with you that be something in place, for these police officers that trump charges up on people and actually steal their livelihood from them. They should they should have to pay
And you
for
know
that
what?
suffering
And you know
that
what?
they've
For
caused.
every right, and
They
Maryland
should
will
have
stack
to.
the charges. So, for instance, if you get in a barroom fight with somebody, boom, you fight, and the person has a busted nose, and maybe the nose, or maybe they get a scleral hemorrhage in the eye. You know, the little red mark in your eye. Two men fight. Okay, they're going to charge you with second-degree assault, which is a misdemeanor, first-degree assault, which is a felony. Okay, and so when you go before your bail review, the judge will say, "Oh, you're charged with a felony." So they really don't really care about what the facts are. They say they care, but they the way they interpret pretrial release is that they have to assume that what they're reading in the statement of probable cause is true. And so even though you have defenses, the court is saying, okay, if all of this is true, can I trust this person to not be a flight risk and to return to court? They don't care what your defenses are. You can try to explain, well, you know, we were tussling, we had a fight. I just won the fight. He willingly engaged to fight me. In fact, he swung on me first, but I won. So he ended up with injuries. But you're charged with first-degree assault, no bail. Like what? Like I'm a lawyer. Like, you know what I mean? I'll go to court all the time, you know, but they're looking at charges more so than the facts or even trying to understand what happened. They just send people out, no bail. If it's a violent offense, which is misdemeanor second-degree assault, is I could just get in your personal space and say I'll F you up. That could be a second-degree assault. You know what I mean? And you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you know, they try to blame it on the prosecutor's office, but that's not the prosecutor, that's the judges. And you know, I have a lot of criticism about the judges because you know what? I love our system of justice, and to criticize our justice is the most sincere form of patriotism, or one of the most sincerest forms of what we have to do as defense lawyers to keep our system straight. These judges are creating they're making a lot of bad decisions and hurting a lot of people. And the state's attorney gets blamed for it because they ask for these things, but the judges, even though they ask for a person not to be held, the judges have the ultimate power to decide, you know what, this is a misdemeanor. This arises out of this situation that's pretty explainable. I'm not going to hold this person, you know, indefinitely until August or October, you know, on no bail status. We're going to release this person. And they can do it, but they aren't doing it. And before they did away with cash bail is another thing. I know I'm talking, but y'all brought me on this show, so I'm going to talk anyway. Y'all brought me in here. Doing away with cash bails was, or reduce, or making that not as great of an option as it used to be, really hurt us. We are incarcerating more people because after they've done away with cash bails than we used to. And you can look up, you know, the reports, and you can just Google it. In Maryland incarcerates more people than Mississippi. You know what I mean? More people than Georgia and South Carolina. Maryland incarcerates more black males than Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. That should tell you something. Now, we never even realized that about our state, but that's how we are. And so when you have these situations, you know, these judges, I think they're leading the charge, and it's not all white judges. Just like they say, police brutality is not a black or white thing. These being held without bail is not a black or white thing. These are people who are just entrenched in perpetuating the biases that are naturally built into our system. There needs to be an overhaul of the judicial system. And I'll say that you always hear the term judicial reform, but they're always looking at prosecutors. No, judicial reforms has to do with the judges too. They need to be, you know, more judicious when they determine who has to be held with and without bail. And just because you are accused of committing a violent offense doesn't mean that you did it. And certainly there are people who are dangerous, but you're supposed to be in the business of trying to decide who is the most dangerous versus who just made a bad decision, got hot-headed one night, had a bad night or a bad day, and let these people go home to their families because they're ripping us apart still.
Wow. Man, you said a mouthful in the last 30 minutes, 15 minutes, man. Hey, Jay, let me ask you a question. I've been saying this for a while, man. Everybody doesn't understand where I'm coming from when I say this. And I say this, man, I think as African Americans in this country, our biggest problem is that we don't make the rules. We don't make the laws. We didn't the Constitution. We didn't have no part, no play, no position, no power.
All these elected officials, we do.
We do.
30% African Americans. Shouldn't nothing move in this state without our approval. We we are 51, 55% of the Democratic Party. Somebody can correct me. 51 to 55% of the Democratic Party. We have legislators. We have a legislative black caucus right there in Annapolis. Should nothing move? We should have had a black governor a long time. Nothing should even move in this state without our approval. But we don't. We are beggars sitting on a pot of gold. We do not flex our muscles. We do not advocate. Before George Floyd, you rarely hear somebody advocate for a black person or black lives. Before George Floyd, they couldn't even say it out of their mouth. Black and brown, we need to be black and brown brothers and our LGBT. No. The black people need help. I want to hear you advocate for us. We sent you down there to advocate for us. I mean, everybody else, they're going to be helped as a byproduct of you helping us anyway, because whatever we do, it affects everybody. The civil rights movement just didn't affect black people, and we've been the least to benefit from it, to be honest with you. But everybody else has thrived under our labor, under our hard work. And I had this argument with this Asian guy online before, because he's thinking that, that all you have to do is put in hard work and everything be fine. Look, let me tell you something. We've been working hard since 1619. Okay, it ain't all about how you have the luxury to do just be a hardworking individual. That's your luxury. An African American has to be a hardworking individual and deal with that crap that comes from racism. Now you try that. You know what I mean? You try that. Deal with the redlining. Deal with Jim Crow. Deal with being a slave survivor. Deal with the Civil Rights Act that's only 55 years old. And to tell you the truth, for some people who had a 400-year start on us, we're doing incredibly well. Okay, and in the last 55 years, whoever's 55 years old today, you are the first generation of free African Americans in this country. There's been no other generation before you, because the Civil Rights Act was enacted in '64, and that's when we became full-fledged citizens. Prior to that, you could be discriminated against, you could be this, you could be that. I'm 50 years old. If you're 54, 55 years old, you're the first, and I'm part of the first. So in the last 54 years, we've had a black president, black this, black that, black everything, black quarterback, and I'm talking about after a 350-year head start. So don't you tell me what black people ain't doing. Don't you ever tell me that, because we've done more than anybody else, and we still dealing with y'all's crap. It takes more than just hard work for us to make it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. He was on the roll. Lucia, he's frozen on me again. I know he's getting ready to log back in.
Yes, he's on the roll.
He can log back in, y'all. Woo. But I want to say,
absolutely. Wow, Reg.
Mary,
listen.
Hey, Nicole,
go ahead.
Tom Phillips, how y'all all doing, man? Raquel, how are you? Rachel, how are you? Joanne, Teddy Reed, what's up, Shop? Yeah, he's coming back on now. Hold on a second. Let me bring him back on.
Yeah, he's back on.
He's coming on. He's coming back on. He's coming back on.
I need to ask him more. I need to ask him questions. Great.
You was going in, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm really proud. I'm a proud African American, because I know the history. I know that we've had our Rosewoods, our Wilmingtons, our Tulsas burned down when we made it. When they said we're supposed to do this, that, and the other thing, we did it. And every time we do that, whether you're in, even today, our biggest and brightest starlets get taken from us. They're going after Kenny Ravenel. You know what I mean? They go after our biggest and bright all the time. So that's another Rosewood. They're burning down our communities. These people fight for us. And when they silence these people, some of our elected officials, dare I say it, some of them for what they've been charged with, those other guys get to pay back the money. If it's a bribery, they get to pay it back, and the state ethics never goes beyond that. Pay a little penalty, what have you. Yeah. In our cases, we're getting sent up the river. And then when they get us on one thing, they want to charge us with purge. I mean, come on, man. Enough is enough. And I know they wouldn't do it to other people, because I know they don't. We all know they don't. The fact, when I see a black professional, I'm like, you know what? Knowing how this country the way I do, I know what it took for you to get there. And it wasn't just hard work that others have the luxury to enjoy. I know that it took and you, Lucia, forget about black men. That's exponentially worse. For you to be a professional, and what you have to go through as a woman, you got to go through the racism, the sexism, and everything else. So no, don't talk to me about nothing. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. You want to have a conversation? I'll explain it to you. I'll explain it to you. Just like the lady said on that video, it's like playing Monopoly. They're going around the board 400 times before you even get out the starting blocks. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So don't talk. Don't talk to me about that. So yeah.
So we
Now y'all got me talking. Somebody done talked up this whole hour, but y'all brought me on here. I bet you won't do that no more.
we'll do it all the time, man. Chico, what's up? Derek, Laverne.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
We're gonna bring you back to that question. Let's see, you got another question real quick?
Yes, I do. Before you go, I want to get your take on, we have created a group called Blackout Week. And so today is the first day for Blackout Week. And so it's our goal to build blackouts in our own community, to take and invest our own monies in our own communities. That's one of the things that we saw that we could do, a move of power, if you will, that we could take control of our own Black dollar. And we can invest in our own community to hopefully to effectuate some change. So I want to get your take on that. And after we finish this movement on the 7th, where should we go from there?
My take is that it's all good. I would never criticize anyone for trying to participate or help with the struggle. So it's all good. Some people may have their disagreement about it. I don't. You know what I mean? This is an exercise. And once you strengthen your muscles, extend it. And what do you do afterwards? You keep going, and it's blackout. Then it becomes wealth building. Then it becomes educate. Just let it go. Let it snowball and let it go wherever it goes. Let it be a labyrinth of ideas and philosophies and strategies to reach the point of equity and equality. And I'm for all of it. So that's my answer.
My question to you, Jay, and this will be the last one for you today, and I appreciate you coming on. I know you're members of Black lawyers across the country. You're president of one of the monumental city bar associations. You're past president, and you're part of the big board for African. What are the African American lawyers across the country groups doing? What are they doing? Trying to do some policy reform? They're trying to do some justice reform. Just let everybody know exactly what you guys are trying to do from your legal and your educated background moving forward.
All of the above, actually. We've been busy the entire time, and George Floyd wasn't our catalyst. We've been doing this thing since the beginning of time. We've been talking to people, educating people about their rights, trying to create policy reforms. Police body-worn cameras and policies surrounding those things we've been a part of. Even the black-on-black crime in the cities of Baltimore, we've all been a part of the expungements, what you call expungement fairs and whatnot. We've been out here, and we've been making noise. When you see these high-profile cases pop up, it's us. We're on these cases now. You used to see a lot of Caucasian individuals representing these gentlemen, but now it's us. And not to take anything from them, but we know what it's like. Like, you don't have to explain to me what it's like to walk around the store and somebody follow you and what that feels like. You don't have to explain to me what it's like to watch a video of human suffering. You don't have to explain to me what it's like to be discriminated. We saw some of that at the Atlas Group restaurants. You don't have to explain those experiences to me. And the Atlas Group restaurant was just one that was really very much so in your face, was like a big F you. You know what I mean? But we've had other situations where they're saying, be quiet. People want they want quiet. They don't want peace. They want quiet. They don't want you to be peaceful. They want you to be quiet. And so when you have those situations, we've been out here on the forefront of all those issues since the beginning of time, from Thurgood and to all the way back to some of the ones before him. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to always be here.
Good. So I did want to answer. I forgot this question. The Atlas Group, what is your take? What do you take moving forward? What do you think we should do?
Shut them down. Shut them. Look, I ain't got no love for it, man. They hit me with the same thing on June 17, 2019. And you hit me with this policy, man. I had on these. I had on some Cohan shoes, right? They're the 0 Grand Cohan shoes. They have rubber soles, but they're wingtips. And they told me that I couldn't come in because I had on athletic wear. I'm like, these wingtips, what are you talking about? And they really hemmed me up for a second. And then behind me, there was, what's the guy's name? Kevin Plank from Under Armour.
Yeah.
He came in looking like he's straight off the and when I saw him, I was like, man, I'm not arguing. I just went and went about my business. I knew I was being discriminated against, but as African Americans, we experience discrimination all the time, and we just our dismissive instincts come in. That the F you instincts. You're like, look, F you, I'm going to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? And we just won't allow ourselves to be denied. But it's discrimination, and I kind of wrote it off until the restaurant incident occurred with the 9-year-old boy. And I was like, wow. I went through the same thing, and as I talked about it online, people was like, "Yeah, they did the same thing." So we're not talking about these things amongst each other because it's so frequent in our lives that we don't even mention it because it's just a part of being an African American, male or female. It's just a part of what we go through that we don't talk about. But when you talk about it, you start to realize how deep-seated these issues and problems really are. So I'm glad that everybody was able to reflect upon their own experiences and come together. In fact, if you all have been discriminated against at one of the Atlas Group restaurants, I invited people to contact me because I want to sue them. Not necessarily for my experience, because mine was just, another one that we just part of the tribe being African American.
Well,
but though if we get enough of them, I'm going to go in. You know what I mean? So
Jay, give
anybody under the sound of my voice, if you've been discriminated by the Atlas Group, contact me.
Give everybody your contact information.
Okay, so I'm Jay Wyndal Gordan on Facebook, Warrior Lawyer on Instagram. You can Google me, Jay Wyndal Gordan. My website is gordanatlaw.com, and I'm the Warrior Lawyer.
Where the Warrior Lawyer come from?
Long time ago when I first started, man. Long time ago. Just fighting for my clients, man. That's one of my clients referred to me as that. I just took hold of it. Now it's patented. It's on the wall, patented by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So if I catch y'all using, I'm coming for you too. Yeah. Well,
again, man, I want to thank you, man. I want to thank you so much, man, for coming on, sharing with us with your bright legal mind, man, and your information as an African American lawyer in the state of Maryland. We really appreciate you. I want to ask, like I asked all my guests, we're going to probably ask the guests that came on this month to come on again in the fall and the winter to get an update from you guys. I want you to say, yes, I will show up Rick, next time too as well, because you're getting busy, and I know you're going to be busy. Right. I need to get this hour out of you in the fall, the winter of this year. Thank you, Jay Wyndal. We love you, man. Keep on doing what you're doing. Fighting that fight, man. I know you're the man, man. And I'll see you out and about, man.
Yeah, I got to see what this opinion is.
Yeah. Go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wyndal.
All right, sir.
All right.
Yes, check your opinion.
Yo, Lucia, let me tell you, man.
Bless you. Listen.
Friends, man. I got friends.
Rich.
Friends.
Okay, so we can't.
Go ahead.
We can't end on that note, right? Yeah. We can't end on that note. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna read this scripture because we are, as a people, we have been oppressed, but we serve a God that is bigger than our oppressor. And Psalms 119:134 says, "Redeem me from the oppression of man, that I may keep your law." And so in the midst of all that we do have to go through as a people, we are strong. We are strong people. And as Jay Wyndal was talking about, hey, we've been fighting forever. We're not new to this. We're true to this, really. And so we've been fighting and we've been overcoming for a long time. But we do know that we serve a God that knows who the oppressor is, and he has the power to deliver us and the power to strengthen us and grant us strategy in the midst of this. And so I didn't want to leave our session on today without encouraging someone to not be discouraged based on what we do know that's not working in our favor. We know we have God who is absolutely working in our favor.
I say amen. Amen. Hey, so listen, I want to tell everybody, thanks for joining, first of all. I see Chico on here, Thomas Phil. Hey, Tom, what's up? Hey, Tom Phillips, Denise, Mary. Listen, guys, every week I try to bring on somebody that's going to enlighten us, that's going to give us some information, that's going to talk to us about things that we might not be as familiar with. or even if you are familiar, maybe they'll energize some nerve endings for you, get you back up and thinking again and running again. What he shared today, some of the information I did not know and was not aware of it. And Jay is a sharp young mind, and we want to encourage him. So if you have any legal issues, guys, that you think that he might be able to help you out, please reach out to him. I really ask you to do that. And please, if you do reach out to him, tell him you saw him on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom with Rich and Lucia. We would appreciate that. But I want to thank everybody. I got to thank my sponsors now at this particular point in time. My boy John over at John Cashline. That's my dog. He's been with me since day one. My girl Tracy, the cigar diva, been with me since day one. My man Marcus McAllister from MGM has been with me since day one. My boy Chris from Rick. Prominent Home Inspection, been with me since day one. My newcomers, my girl Lisa from Lisa Luxury Consignment. You guys got to go see her. She's been closed for 5-6 months. She needs to get rid of some inventory. She needs to get some things going. So go by and see her. She's a great person over there in Mount Washington area, right across from that restaurant. What's that restaurant in Mount Washington? Washington Tavern. Right across the street from it. A real great shop. Got some good stuff, designer stuff, non-designer stuff. Get over there. And then my girl, the butterfly. Janet, the butterfly. Health stuff. She got me doing this. She's gonna kill me for this. Right now, I'm just so high. I can't even think. But she's my last one, my last sponsor in a clay au pair. And I'm gonna be talking to Jay Wyndal about becoming a sponsor as well, man, because I want to keep the show alive. I want to keep it going. Me and Lucia got some big grand ideas. We want to go back on the radio. We want to do some advertising. We want to do some marketing. We want to do a lot of good things. And we'd like to hear from you guys accordingly. And I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to ask any questions. And I think I'm going to have Wyndal come back on and it'll be a show where you can ask some legal questions of him. And we'll probably do that on the radio where it can be more interactive. Janet, please give me your name of your organization again, please, Janet. She's going to kill me for forgetting her company's name. But she's one of my sponsors. Janet Throxton. She's the girl I was talking about as my last sponsor. She just jumped on board. Janet, please put your company's name in the comments. I greatly appreciate it. So, Lucia, I'm just excited, man. I think I had one of the bang up.
I am too. I feel informed.
I've had one of the bang up months, man.
I'm super informed, Rich.
This brother, let me tell you, see what happens. These guys, man, they know how criminal and corrupt the system is, and all they can do is try to figure out ways to put themselves do with their clients, but they can't affect too much massive change. And that's why I go back to my thing until we can change some laws now, but the original laws is what screwed up. You know what I mean? The beginning is what screwed up because there's only one person's or one type of person, Caucasian white males, who wrote them laws, who wrote those justice systems, those court systems, who wrote those legal things, those policies, those procedures. That is the problem, the root. Until we get to the root, I'm just convinced we're not going to be as powerful or as straight up. But like he said, we do have enough power now, enough things to make some changes, and maybe those wholesale changes can get towards the root. But I'm a believer, if you got cancer, you must cut it out. You must get rid of it. And right now we do not.
At the root.
Has not posted their company yet. Electric Butterfly. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. My last sponsor is Electric Butterfly. Janet, she's online now. You guys reach out to her. She got that sea moss. She got that hair product. She got that mulberry cough syrup. She got the all that stuff, black seed oil. She got it all. She's all healthy and she's doing good. And she's going on a fast. I think today they're starting a fast program online on Facebook. So please join Janet on that and support Janet and her small business because she is really doing well with that, especially her hair product and her sea moss are doing very well. So, Lucia, what do you think, though? What do you mean? What's your synopsis?
Listen, I am just impressed. I was impressed, but very informed. A lot of the information that Jay Wyndal shared, I did not know. I did not have a understanding of the impact, especially with jury duty. especially with jury duty as an issue for us as Black people. But it makes sense. If we don't show up for jury duty, then we don't have any Black people on the jury. And so then a lot of times our people are found guilty when they may not have need to. So he shared a lot of different strategies that he suggested for us. And of course, I wrote them all down. So I was very impressed and very delighted. And I look forward to Jay Wyndal coming back.
He's going to come back. He's a friend, man. And that's what I'm saying. All these folks we've had recently are friends of mine. And sometimes, man, I have to think like, wow, I just got good friends around me, man, that I know that just knowledgeable, that this sharp dude, always been very smart and very astute. So listen, with that said, man, we're going to have to end it out, man. We're excited. We want you guys to join us next week. We're going to continue our series. Where do we go from here? You've heard from grassroots nonprofit agencies. Where we're going from here? We went from a corporate, Urban League with Tiffany Majors, corporate. Where we're going to go from here? You heard from grassroots, Derek Chase. Where we're going from here? You heard from Dr. Frazier of a national movement that he has, and where we're going to go from here. You heard now from the great legal mind of a young legal mind of Jay Wyndal, where he thinks things should go from here. And next week you're going to have another person. I can't even announce it yet because I haven't got her or him to commit, because I can't even tell you it's her or him because you might figure it out, to commit. But we're going to be on the show to talk about where do we go from here in another industry. And I think it's good that we're hitting all these different avenues to give us a more stereo view versus a monolithic view of how to move forward. God bless you all.
Right.
To see you. You know that. Always love you, girl.
Bless you.
Take care.
Love you too. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in.
Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom is a motivational moment designed to equip you and empower you with the necessary fundamentals and strategies to take your business to the next level. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, right here, live on Facebook. You are in for a great treat with Rich McClearn on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom is a motivational moment designed to equip you and empower you with the necessary fundamentals and strategies to take your business to the next level. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, right here, live on Facebook. You are in for a great treat with Rich McClearn on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with Rich McClearn. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom is a motivational moment designed to equip you and empower you with the necessary fundamentals and strategies to take your business to the next level. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, right here, live on Facebook. You are in for a great treat with Rich McClearn on Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Strength, courage, and